Welcome, accomplices. I'm Linda Norman. I'm a watercolor artist in the beautiful province of British Columbia. Today I thought I would just share some of the products that I use on a regular basis that some of you have asked about, where they're accessed and that kind of thing. And also go over some options maybe to the Lebenzon brushes that unfortunately are no longer available to us. And so I've got some ideas for you. I've got a lot of things in my studio that I think sometimes I take for granted. I'm pretty fortunate that I've been able to explore some of the options that are available to watercolor artists. One, because we have a wonderful art supply store here in the Okanagan. Actually, in Western Canada, there's a few of them. Opus Art Supplies, and so that's a great option. I can go in and shop in person and you know, touch and feel, which is sometimes what you need to do, right? The other thing is that a few years ago I took a workshop with Michael Solovyev, and he has watercoloronline.com, and that is where I get these lovely solo brushes, solo because his last name is Solovyev, and they're absolutely exquisite. They hold a ton of water. They're a goat hair, so they hold lots of water, but they also will come to a very precise point if you need them to, or they can scumble out and give you some room for texture and mark making that way. And he has a couple of sets. This was a travel set, so shorter handles, easier to pack when you're going away. And through the teaching that I've been doing in the last year, some of my brushes have just been misplaced. So, but they do come in various sizes, and if you go to watercoloronline.com, you'll be able to find those options for you. He has all kinds of wonderful things. He's the type of artist who paints loose and beautiful, everything from portraits to scenes from around the world where he teaches, you know, in lots of locations. And he works with companies to develop products that he knows will work for watercolorists. So the brushes are fabulous. He's got some liners and liner brushes and some different things. He's got a plein air set. That's where this board came from. It's part of a set. You can, I don't use it on my plein air because I don't do that much here, but there's a little attachment on the back, and it's a beautiful, like a carbon kind of board that is nice and solid for working on, and it attaches to the tripod, and there's all kinds of gizmos to make your plein air painting more you know, comfortable. That's also where I get my solo tape, and some of you have asked about that as well. Solo, again, for Solovyev, and it's designed for watercolors, for painters. It's got a bit of tack to it. If you don't like that much tack, you can run it on your clothing, you know, and then take some of that off. But it's lovely. It says on the package, I think you can leave it on your paper for up to 12 days or something. I have left it a bit longer. Especially if you're working on high quality 100% cotton paper, you're going to have better results with that, of course, as well. But it comes off clean. You still always want to make sure that you're pulling your tape off low and slow and away from your work. But it also, it tears nicely. I like to use tape as my resist, as you know, for my trees and different things. So it's got some really lovely qualities to it. And it comes in 3/4 inch and 1 inch widths. And I buy it by the case. I just love it. And you know, it's easy for my students to use because of the color. I was finding years ago when I was painting with masking tape from the hardware store that some of them, the beige colored tape was, the quality just wasn't there. I didn't care for how it broke down sometimes. And then also the other colors were hard on the eyes. I like to have just a look that resembles my matting, which is usually a black, and I do appreciate that. So again, Watercolor Online, that's watercolor with an O-R, not an O-U-R. So watercoloronline.com, and have a look. He also sells, the only place I found to source the Bauhong Master's Choice watercolor paper. I just have not found it anywhere else in the world. So if that's something you'd like to try, and I would recommend if you get to a point where you're ready to explore some really lovely paper, that the watercolor or the Masters series from Bauhong is absolutely beautiful. All right. The other thing we wanted to talk about, pardon me, is that as I've mentioned in my past videos, our dear friend Tracy Lebenzon has become ill and is in the throes of treatment and that kind of thing. And I don't think we will have his brushes available to us anymore. And that's, it's heartbreaking news to know that someone that we care about is suffering, and also that we have not got those beautiful brushes to look forward to any longer. I discovered Tracy's brushes years ago and have been using them, as you know, if you've been watching along. My favorite little brush, the first brush I ever got from Tracy, and I use it every day in my studio, and it still has a beautiful precision point. And some of them, I gifted some to my friend John in Scotland, and he's framed them because he recognized them as the true pieces of art that they were. These brushes came from Tracy as well. And I just wanted to, they're watercolor brushes because I'm a watercolor painter. I just wanted to show you how lovely and luscious they are to work with. So let's get some paint out here first, and see what we can do. Let's try this set. All right. So my first, what did I do with it? No, that one there. So with this little brush here, I can do a wash if I would like to do a wash. I can make nice fine little lines. I can scuffle it around and make nice little marks with it. Just a versatile, beautiful brush. I think some options for you now might be, let's have a look here at the Escoda Versatility. Where is my Escoda? This is an Escoda brush. I got this at our local art store, but you can get it probably anywhere and definitely online. And it is called an Escoda, E-S-C-O-D-A, Versatil, V-E-R-S-A-T-I-L. And this is a number 10 rigger. It's got a nice, let's have a look here. It has a full 1 inch, 1.25-inch bristle, which is, I think for loose and intuitive painting, is really a nice size to go with. It's going to hold lots and lots of water. Comes to a fairly nice point. So let's have a look. So yeah, you can get some nice washes with that. You can get some fine lines. I think it would be a great option for you to, to add to your arsenal. In light of the fact that those little 1.5-inch goat hair, or this is a 1 inch, I guess, because it's the same measurement there. 1 inch goat synthetic blend. I'm not sure what the composition of the Escoda brushes are, but they are quite lovely and they are designed for watercolor artists. So I wouldn't hesitate to recommend that. And as I said, this is a number 10 rigger. Depending on the style of painting you want to do, you could explore maybe a number 8 rigger as well. But I love that they have that beautiful flexibility to them. Some of the brushes that we find, let me just have a little look here, that are designed for watercolor, marketed for watercolor, are quite, I don't know, I find them stiffer and not as flexible. And so you can still get some washes. Typically have to make a few more strokes because they don't hold as much water. You can still get some lines, which is fine, light touch. But they're not designed to hold as much water as some of these others, right? The other thing would be the Vinci series, and they're a lovely brush. This is a Cassiano, Casaneo series, and it's a little set. This is a round brush. It will come to a bit of a point. Let's have a look here. Because it's a higher end brush, it's going to give you that much more coverage. You can see how much more, after dipping it in once into the water, how much more mileage you get out of a little brush like this. And if you were to get that point and your paints are wet and juicy, you don't have to dig around. You can keep that point just by touching lightly in. You can pick up enough, you should be able to pick up enough paint to make some finer lines. Not quite the same because the point isn't quite as long. This is a cat's tongue from Cassiano, Vinci Cassiano. Again, you're going to get tons and tons of coverage. You can see where the higher quality watercolor brushes are going to give you just, I don't know, just so much more options for covering. Okay. This is a cat's tongue, so it's not going to give you that pointed tip, but you can flatten it out and make some lines there as well, right? And then the other option with the Cassiano set that I have here from Da Vinci is a dagger, sword brush, angled brush. And again, I was going to say the ferrule. The bristles are lovely, and they are flexible, and they will carry a ton of weight, water and pigment. These are designed, more for finessing some shapes. If you're a floral painter, for example, and you want to have a nice fine line for a leaf and then a petal coming out, you can add pressure and it gives you that option. If I lay it down flat, you can see it's got a bit of an angle, so it's called a sword brush. So any of those, I think, are versatile enough that you could have some success with that. Oops. Anything with a, I'm a little limited for what I have on hand because I've relied so much on my Lebenzon brushes. But these are, I think, the ones that I would recommend. Anything with a nice soft flex to them and something that is designed for watercolor. It's not ethical any longer to be using natural hairs. Tracy, of course, resourced his from old taxidermy pieces and offcuts from other things that were already in use years ago, and upcycled his products and blended them with synthetics and different things. But there are some really interesting synthetics out nowadays that really mimic natural hairs. They will hold lots of water. They're going to be soft and supple. And I think for a lucid intuitive style painting, this is kind of what you want to look for. If you were painting more realist subjects and styles, you could certainly go with these watercolor brushes. Like I said, they're very they feel stiff to me, and then they don't give me the movement that I want. But you can certainly switch back and forth from something that maybe doesn't have a point to one of these that does have a nice point on it for your finer lines. This one is an Allegro from Opus. They have the Allegro series. They also have the Galliano series, which have a fatter belly on them. So they do hold a lot of water. Again, a little bit stiffer. So depending on the style of painting that you're wanting to do, they will have a nice amount of coverage as well. Now, it's a Canadian company, Opus, and they do have an online presence. You can order and they will ship to you. So that's an option as well if you like this style of brushes. Someone was asking recently about the brights that I use for lifting colors and being more specific and making lines on my page. And these are an Opus product as well. I have purchased online through Amazon, other brands. It's hard when you're ordering online to know exactly what you're getting because you can't feel them. And it's important to me that these have a nice stiff bristle that's going to keep its shape, and they come in various widths and different lengths of bristle. These two are quite short, and these are a bit longer, but they will all hold a very sharp angle on them. And the way I use these is I dab off any excess, because if I'm lifting out, I don't want to be adding more water. I just want it damp enough to reactivate some paint on the surface. And then I pull it out. And I can shape shorelines. I can add little marks for water, that kind of thing. So these are Denman, D-E-N-M-A-N brushes from Opus. They're called Synthetic Fresh Bright, B-R-I-G-H-T. And like I say, if you can order them online through Opus, or hop into an Opus if you're in the area of one, they're the ones I prefer. Or if you go into a store close to you, just make sure that they have a nice stiff bristle to them, and that the bristle comes to a nice razor sharp point on the end. Okay. Some brushes will have a stiffer bristle, but they're kind of fluffy on the end, and that's not going to give you that line that you want. And they're going to hold a lot more water than you ever want to pull things out. You can see how it's already, with the slightest bit of pressure, the bristles are wiggling, whereas this one, they're nice and straight. So that was what I wanted to share with you about brushes. I think they're the ones that I like to use. If you have the option to go into an art store and have a look and see physically what the brushes are like. Hold them in your hand even and feel them. Some brushes, have a fatter handle on them, that kind of thing. They're a bit heavier. See what feels right for you. Test them out. And like I say, don't be afraid to switch them out back and forth till you find the ones that are going to make the marks that you need to make. Thanks for joining me today, accomplices. I hope some of the brushes that I've recommended here today will find their way into your arsenal and help you with your watercolor journey. If you like what you've seen, I invite you to subscribe to my channel, visit my website, bandrystudio.com, or head on over to our members area. We'll have some fun things happening there soon.